Morning world, it's about 10 a.m. It's Sunday, I think it's the 23rd of April 2017, and this is a bit of a different one than normal. This is more of a Sunday sermon rather than an astrological thing. I'm looking at the idea of kindness and I suppose cruelty a little bit from an astrological perspective. A few days ago in England, a noted, not famous, but a noted footballer died young, 44 years old, had a heart attack on the training pitch on a Thursday afternoon, and by early Friday morning he was dead, leaving behind a couple of kids and a wife. Now, there's two things that are worthy of note here. On the first hand, the outpouring of attention, grief and sympathy from the community surrounding him was actually much larger than it was thought, and it was obvious that the guy was a real gentleman and he was really well respected by not only his colleagues but by the entire footballing world in general. That in itself, for that amount of public affection to be noted, is relatively unusual. Secondly, one of the last things he did the day before he died was his last tweet was about how he was walking around in an area of East London, and his tweet said something like, "Saw a homeless girl on the street last night. She wasn't begging, she wasn't propositioning me, she wasn't doing anything, but I just gave her a £10 note. Not going to lie, it felt good." And then his hashtag was random acts of kindness. And I just thought, brilliant. And then I thought about this, random acts of kindness. A lot of people do this. I've given money to homeless people. I support Amnesty and Greenpeace and things like that. But people who do random acts of kindness, out of no reason, they don't set out to do it, they just see something and they think, yes, I'm going to help there. What is it that makes some people actually genuinely want to help and others just walk by? I think the others walking by, it's not cruel, it's just fear of getting involved. Now, it would be easy to put this down to an astrological perspective. You can't say that certain signs are cruel or certain signs are kind. That would be unfair. There's certain aspect patterns. For example, a Sun-Neptune conjunction will always have a great deal of compassion and empathy, but it can also be very cruel. A Sun-Jupiter conjunction can be very generous and big-hearted and fun, but it can also be very uncaring. A Sun-Moon conjunction is always going to be sensitive to what's going on around them, will always try and help. Conversely, a Saturn-Mars square or a Pluto-Mars square can be quite cruel, but it can also be the best when it comes to martial arts and anger management. It is not any particular aspect in the horoscope that denotes cruelty or kindness. Remember, please, the planets impel, they don't compel. The horoscope is a blueprint of potential. It does not say what will happen. It does give guidelines as to what can, and it pushes you in certain directions. You can choose to go in completely the opposite direction. That is why if you have two people born the same day, the same year, the same hospital, and within 5 minutes of each other, and they have basically identical horoscopes, one will grow up to be a sadist or a masochist or a poor me, a victim, a martyr, someone who just feels the world is against them and has an element of self-cruelty or self-harm about them. And the other person will grow up to be a philosopher, a scientist, a priest, someone who really contributes into the world. At the end of the day, I hate to come down to this basic, but it is fate or free will. And as an astrologer, I am not a fatalist. I do not believe that things are written in the stars. I've never seen any evidence of this. I do believe in free will. We all have the choice to behave as we will. And one or two of you over the years have actually been very helpful to me, for which I will always be grateful, and you know who you are. I'm not going to name names. Random acts of kindness. What a lovely hashtag that was. And it's something that I think if we were to all practice at some stage in our lives, not only would the world become a better place in terms of us helping our fellow humans, but also we would feel better about ourselves. And Perhaps it's just the fact that I've got the moon in Sagittarius. Who knows? It's not fate or free will. But the idea of having a good conscience and feeling good about oneself, yeah, that's really good. So, on that note, I'm just going to say random acts of kindness. Yeah, really works, folks. Okay, catch you tomorrow for week ahead. All right, bye.